My name is Blair Taylor. I'm a native Memphian. I really grew up not having a very full perspective on what Memphis was and is, and so my ideas about it were pretty limited. I thought it was sort of a dusty old town and slow town, and that I needed something bigger and better and more exciting. And then I ended up in New York, where I lived for 5 years. My first job was in New York, making $18,000 a year out of college, and in New York that doesn't get you very far. Most of what I was involved in was community development work. I got a master's in social work and a master's in business, and found myself wanting to combine the two. Did everything from doing a year's internship at Rikers Island, where I was a mental health clinician for mentally ill inmates. I worked with inner city kids who were working in teams of volunteer projects in exchange for education credits and education benefits. And as I sort of made my way through New York and grew and changed and learned and began to figure out more of what I wanted to do and be, I started to, as we all do when we go away, get a perspective on your own place that is vastly different. You begin to see it in context and relative to what else is out there. And anyway, I began thinking about moving back to Memphis, and I was ready to take root, invest in a community, invest myself in it. Took a new look at Memphis. There's sort of an old world charm and the porch living and the real closely knit community in the neighborhood association, and that appealed to me tremendously. And mostly, I think personally for me, I wanted to come back and make a difference in my community, and Memphis really felt like a town. It was just the right size. Coming back in, and there's enough to do and enough that needs to be done, and enough variety of people and populations and good things happening, but there's also things that need to be worked on in a way for a person to come in and plug in and really, take a piece of that for their own almost. It's easier to have a sense of ownership and have the sense, feel like it's your own community and that you can really make a difference, and in whatever realm you're dealing in, you can really do something, and that was exciting to me. So that's kind of why I ended up in Memphis. I'm executive director for an organization called Memphis Tomorrow. It's about 25 CEOs of our biggest companies in town who have come together collectively to act on civic projects and major community issues, pool their resources and their influence to impact and affect major change here. The focus areas: what does this group see as the most significant and pressing challenges in Memphis? What should be our priority areas? And certainly education is critical. Then we also have 3 other areas. We have inner city and minority business development. We have a music industry development project. We have bioscience industry development, and we did a sort of a 9-month project on that, which is we sunsetted and handed off the execution to the Memphis Biotech Foundation, which is typical of how we operate. We work collaboratively with sort of a steering group and hand it off to that organization for the implementation and execution. So we're not ever going to be running programs out of Memphis Tomorrow, which is, I think, a really good model, actually. I'm really excited about Memphis Tomorrow as a incredibly valuable community resource. It is really exciting to see top business leadership getting involved and pooling their ideas and their resources and acting together, because the kind of impact they can have is great.